Hey, how's everyone doing today? Today, I want to talk about subconscious reprogramming. And I want to talk about the difference between our spirit body and our physical body and the consequences that can happen from identifying with the physical body first before our spiritual body. I remember specifically saying one time to myself or to another person, I said, you don't need food when you feel spiritually full. Because I remember I was having days where I just wasn't eating, but I felt so enlightened and I felt so light and I felt so good that I didn't feel the need to eat food. It's almost as if when we eat, it's because we're eating because of our emotions and that we are identifying with the food so much and how it tastes. We're trying to step out of ourselves and trying to gain some kind of, what would you say, some kind of rescue from the food. The food gives us dopamine rushes that we're not conscious of, but subconsciously we are. And so I remember saying that to myself. And then now that I've gotten further into these studies, when we focus so much on the physical body, then we have to eat. And if we don't eat, we will die eventually. But when we focus on our spirit body, our astral body, we don't need to eat. All we need is water. That's why fasting is so important in a spiritual journey. And you may be fasting and you may not know it because there's different forms of fasting, right? Maybe I'm not talking about going days without food. I'm talking about intermittent fasting, where you're eating a little bit in the morning, then going all day long and just using water, and then having a meal later in the afternoon, small meal, and then you're getting your nutrients. But there are these things called energy templates, and they are in the higher frequencies of life. And so I'm going to teach you something here that RJ Spina and Brian Scott talk about is how the bottom three densities, which were in the third density, 3D, it's the bottom three are ringed together. The first density, the second density, and the third density are all ringed together, which is height, weight, and width, right? And so that's where our physical body finally takes form from the higher frequencies, where we are our energy bodies, all the way down through all the frequencies from 12D all the way down to 3D is where we finally take physical form. Well, up in these higher densities, there are what you call energy templates. And like Einstein said, he said you can't solve a problem from the same thinking. So when we have manifestations of disease, um, heart problems, lung cancers, multiple sclerosis, colds, flus, tumors, um, ulcers, kidney problems, liver problems, prostate problems, vision problems, deformities, mental health problems. These are all manifestations of problems that we're not fixing because we're focusing on the physical part of trying to fixing the problem when it's a physical manifestation. You can't fix the physical manifestations through a physical solution. It's got to be fixed through a spiritual solution. So that's what this talk is all about today, is how can I cure myself of cancer? How can I cure myself of blindness? How can I cure myself of the common cold? How can I do this, right? Well, that's what we're about to dig into. So, how do we do that? It starts like this. A lot of us want to jump right into fasting and detox our physical body, but that's actually wrong. Um, because then you're trying to fix your physical body again with a physical problem, with a physical solution. You must detox the mind first. And so, how do you do that? Through fasting um, is how we're going to start, right? And so, by starting to fast, we stop having control over all of the things in our lives that we're trying to control the outcomes from. So once we have control over the mind, we have control over the body. When we're digging into, um, doing mind work, um, now we're starting to be aware of the things in our life that cause consequences, right? Like, um, whenever I drink, I get in my car and I drive, and I get pulled over and I go to jail. That's a consequence from a subconscious behavior from addiction. Okay. Well, how do I stop doing these stupid little things? We have to sober up, first of all, and meditation. Meditation is ultimately going to clear your mind and give you all these benefits to life, as in creativity, your new neurotransmitters, new neural pathways. You start thinking higher, starting thinking healthier. You're starting to think more along lines with Source and God. You become closer to God, and so then answers are revealed to you. So through meditation, our mind starts clearing up, and we start to become aware of our behaviors and the behaviors that give us consequences, and we'll start to actually really be more aware of um, our triggers and our ticks, our things that we don't want to. It's like if you was to put a video camera on yourself all day, and then you go watch the video camera, you see a bunch of little stuff about yourself that you don't like doing. Well, that's what meditation gives us. It's the same thing. So, you know, once we start meditating and we start to gain control over these behaviors that we don't like to act, now we're starting to now we're bringing them up out of our subconscious. They're no longer stuffed down to where they can't be controlled. Now they're what is dark will always come to the light. Now they're in the light, and once they're in the light, now they can be deleted. Because once they're in the light, you can't go back on that. They're already in the light. So then you're aware of it. You're bringing all your problems up from the subconscious. Now they're in the light. Now you can delete them through processing them correctly, thinking about them, how you've used them in your life, and how they've caused you consequences, and how you don't want to suffer them consequences no more. So now they're being deleted. That is what we call taking care of physical problems on a spiritual solution. Okay? So now we do these process of elimination of all these things that we do, and finally your life will clear up, and all these physical manifestations of cancer, multiple sclerosis, blindness, mental health issues, addiction, all these things will slowly dissipate from your life as your new life is being created. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a miracle to me. That's a miracle. And if meditation and fasting can bring that kind of miracles into our life, then why aren't we meditating? Why aren't we fasting? And I can sit here and tell you that I'm not perfect either. I do meditate every day. I don't miss a beat on meditation, but fasting and eating healthy, I do. And that's kind of what has brought this video on is I'm trying to step into this next level. Because I've been meditating so long, all these things are clear to me of the things that I don't want to do in my life. all of it's clear to me. There's so many things about myself that are in the light right now. I'm like at this stage of my life where I'm no longer allowing the subconscious to run my life. My subconscious is in the light. Now I'm deprogramming is what I'm doing. I'm deprogramming everything about myself. My whole life of programming is disassembled. Now I'm in that state where I'm like in this desert phase where I'm building who I want to become. What kind of attributes do I want to embody? What kind of things do I want to show the world of who I am? And so that's where I'm at today, in that process, and that's what this video is all about. I kind of just free falled the video because I like to speak from my heart, and whenever I try to script things, my videos come out choppy, and I'd rather you get to know the real me rather than getting to know the person who speaks in 10-second periods. And then like, I'm not trying to make those kind of videos. I came out with a couple of those, and that's just not the real me, and I don't like to operate from that. I want my audiences to know the real me, and this is the real me speaking from the heart, trying to bring light to a dark world. And I know that's what my purpose is. I'm getting better at it on making these videos, and we'll just go from there. So tell me what you think about the video. If you would hit the subscribe button, that would be cool. Help build my following, and that way you have notifications to when my next videos come out, stuff like that, and you can always stay on top of my content. But yeah, if you like what I had to say, or have if you want to talk more about it, comment below. I'll get back to you for sure. Other than that, I hope everyone's having an amazing weekend. God bless you. I hope your life is truly turning into the life that you really want it to be. If it's not, stay tuned into some of my videos. There's a lot of good information that I have, a lot of mind hacks, but it's all based around meditation. You must, must meditate. With that, I'm out. Adonai. 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 All right. Bye.